Today we're going to be reviewing Vice. It's a film by Adam McKay. It stars Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Sam Rockwell, and Steve Carell. Now, I was excited to see this movie because I saw the trailers and I really liked it, and I also heard from a friend that it was pretty damn good, so I walked into this movie pretty excited to see the result. Just to kind of debunk that, though, this movie is fucking terrible. If anybody ever asked me if I wanted to watch this film again, I think I would rather punch myself in the dick for 2 hours. This movie thinks it's so smart that it's practically annoying because the movie goes, hey, we did this thing. Look at how smart we are. Aren't we smart? We did something smart. Acknowledge that we're fucking smart. The directing is all over the place. I don't know where the hell this movie was going with any of it. I think all of it was terrible. None of it works. And this movie wants to be the Wolf of Wall Street so bad. But here's the thing. Adam McKay is not Martin Scorsese. Adam McKay lacks any talent. He doesn't know how to direct actors. That's clear, because when all the actors are in a scene, none of them feel like real people. They're all just these, like, cranked up to 11 edgy characters. Look at how edgy we are. We're an edgy movie. Ooh. Did you cut yourself there on our edgy fucking movie? Just commit to making a great film. They try and cram somebody's entire life story into 2 hours, and instead of touching on the important parts and building a story around those that's cohesive and actually makes sense, they go, oh, hey, let's make this movie a fucking buffet, and we'll just give you 10% of everything, and then also throw in some flashbacks and then present day so that you can be even more fucking confused than you were before. I also heard this movie was being nominated for Best Editing. What the fuck? I would rather nominate Kim Kardashian's sex tape. It's also being nominated for Best Picture and Best Screenplay. So the Oscars are dead now. For anybody that says that the editing choice in this movie was done intentionally and it's a stylistic approach, you're a fucking idiot. Here's another thing about the editing, by the way. Whenever there's a scene with Christian Bale eating food, they feel the need to zoom in on the food and make it a point that you see that he's stuffing his face, as if it wasn't abundantly clear by the end of the movie that he's already a fat guy. Like, yeah, no shit. How do you think he got so fat? You don't have to show us him shoveling his face with food to go, look, do you see how he's getting fatter? He's a big guy, and look, he's getting bigger. The script is really bad. Like, really bad. The performances are pretty good. Amy Adams is great, and Christian Bale is all right. I would say that this would be a really good performance from Christian Bale if they actually fucking let you see it. Every time there's a scene that starts to develop with Christian Bale, they immediately do a montage. So you never see the character. You just see him say these lines and move on to the next thing. There's basically no performance. It's just cool, catchy one-liner, on to the next thing. Even then, Christian Bale's character isn't very consistent. He has these moments where he actually feels like a character, and then Adam McKay takes the script in a completely different direction and then turns him into the edgy one-liner guy. And then the whole movie just falls apart from there. Here's a fun drinking game. Take a shot every time there's a montage, and I promise you that you'll be pissed drunk by the second act. Even the cinematography is just kind of lackluster. It doesn't do anything different. It's just kind of boring. It doesn't try anything. The score as well is also all over the fucking place. Light spoiler, I guess. There's a scene where somebody's getting kidnapped and stuffed into a van. And the way that it's portrayed is very horrific because they're basically being tortured. But the fucking movie decides to throw some, like, cheesy spy music over it. So it looks a little something like this. The movie does that all the time. It just decides to show really horrific stuff and then go like, whoa, look at our wacky, quirky music. Isn't this just one giant rodeo? I think I'm more just pissed off because I really did want to like this movie, but unfortunately I don't. I wanted to like this film and I went into it thinking that I would, but unfortunately I don't think that Adam McKay can produce a cohesive or enticing film that actually makes sense and has well-rounded characters. Like I said, though, I don't blame any of the actors. I think that they were doing their best with what they had. I think that Amy Adams by far does the best job in this whole film. And I would say that Christian Bale is a close second, but we can't see his fucking performance because they just bury it under the editing. They're like, we want to show you his acting, but we can't because we're so fucking edgy. I think Steve Carell is pretty good. He's just Matthew McConaughey from The Wolf of Wall Street. That's basically all he is. Christian Bale comes in every now and again and goes, well, we can't do that, can we? And Steve Carell basically just goes, well, suck my dick, man. Of course we can. Even Sam Rockwell does a very good job. I think that his character is just kind of the dumb guy, but I think that his portrayal of George W. Bush was pretty well done. So I guess besides the score, the cinematography, the directing, the performances, and the editing, there's maybe a few good jokes in here. The makeup in this movie is great, and some of the information being conveyed is pretty cool, and it could make for a very interesting story. But the movie crushes itself under its own weight because it wants to be so many different things that it fails to commit to any of them. And by doing that, the movie fails altogether. That's pretty much all I have to say. Now comes the actually important part of the review. I'm going to rank this film. I think I'm going to give this film 4.5 out of 10 Steve Buscemi's.